Coming to you from UBN Studios in Burbank, California. You're listening to the Unsugarcoated Podcast with your hosts, Aalia Lanius and Alexandra Checa.
Welcome, everybody. I'm Aalia Lanius.
And I am Alexandra Checa.
And we are the Unsugarcoated Media podcast duo.
Yes, we are here because we wanted to create a podcast. And we wanted to call it Unsugarcoated for a reason. And we're going to find out why soon.
We're going to find out why today. No, everybody, for real, I'm excited to be here. As I said, my name is Aalia Lanius. I'm a business owner. I'm an award-winning novelist. And I've actually speak quite candidly. I founded an organization that we look to help others with live events, media content, and a podcast is where we find ourselves now. Alexandra, can you tell everybody a little bit about yourself?
Well, I am a Peruvian girl. I have been living in Los Angeles for some time now. But a little bit about myself. I am in the health and wellness space. So I help my clients look their best through nutrition and also exercise, which is a very important part. But however, before you put me in a little box, I am also...
No putting Alexandra in a little box,
Don't
okay?
put me in a little box.
No boxes, please.
I am also a writer. I am a programmer. And now I am a co-host with you.
As I keep saying my name, Aalia Lanius.
Aalia
You want to hear
Lanius.
something funny about my name? People always have a hard time saying my name, right?
Why?
I don't know about you. Because first of all, Aalia, they're like Aalia. And so I'm
Aalia.
always like, no, Aalia. I say, just pretend you're from the South and say, Aalia, get in the car. And then they're like, oh, I get it. And then Lanius, which is funny enough, that's my married name. My husband, when he introduced himself, he was like, Lanius, like Mr. Lanius or miscellaneous, miscellaneous, right? But then when we got married, I realized that I became Mrs. Lanius, which is way too close to miscellaneous because there's nothing miscellaneous about me in particularly, right? Would you agree? Know
agree.
yourself, right? We're not miscellaneous.
We're not.
But anyway, it's a great way to help people remember my name. So we're here doing this podcast, and we're nervous. It's our first one.
I'm a little nervous, but...
Doing it together. I've actually been a guest on. I'm used to being a guest on podcasts.
It's different to run it yourself.
It is. There's a lot of, there's a nervousness because you want to perform. You don't want people to start turning the dial and say, yo, these girls are crazy. We don't really want to listen to them. We don't want that. But we also want to do something really unique with this particular podcast, which is our why. I founded an organization called Unsugarcoated Media. What we do, I write books that I speak to issues that I feel are very critical and important within our society. And then we created live events that help transform people's lives by bringing together guests and other speakers that speak on issues that help us, right? So anyway, we have now the opportunity to do this in a podcast form. So the guests that we bring on and the things that we plan on doing are all with the theme of empowering others.
Exactly. And I like that. My why is definitely very simple. I'm here because being a young woman definitely requires some kind of guidance, and being a young woman in LA requires even more. Right. So I feel like this is my way to learn and to help others learn, because when you're helping others, you're actually helping yourself as well. So yeah, that's why I'm here. But I also love podcasts.
And I'm so glad you are. And for for our video audience, they will see you are beautiful, you're young. And so that brings us to kind of like what is a little bit different about our show, right?
Yes.
We really want to talk about that. So you are of the lovely age of 24 years old.
Yes, I am.
I am 44 years old. And your perspective, based on your position in life, is vastly different from mine. You are
Well, you can say I am the one who is here doing it.
And I'm the one that's been there, done that.
And, well, I am, even though I am, mature for my age, I'm still kind of idealistic in certain things.
She is quite mature for her age, everyone.
I am very, but it's definitely very idealistic in certain things. And I know that, but I can't know more than my actual age.
And I appreciate that about you. I was very wise. I think that's why we got to give the audience on how we met.
How we met.
How did we two come together? How did the two A's become one?
So I love books. I am a book nerd. I love them. And one day I was on Instagram and I was looking for writers and authors. And then I found this woman who was doing all kinds of things and that was married and had kids. And I was very excited to see somebody handle so many things at once because I have 2 dogs and I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
So I don't know how you do it.
We got to talk. Yes. For anyone who's out there, I am a mother of 4 children total. I have children ranging from 23 to 4 years old. I will be a grandmother. I don't know if we have a picture of the kids. That's 3 of the 4, my lovely little ones. And then this is my youngest one, 3 years old. And she's such she's killing me, man. She's killing me. Having a child at 44 versus when I did it at like 22 and 32, totally different. And you know what, as you mentioned, you have your we've got to see the doggies.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So when I was talking, before we finish about who we are, I have 2 dogs. I have 2 Frenchies. The 5-year-old is named Cosmo, and the 3-year-old is named Riri. Riri, for all the dog lovers out there, Riri got diagnosed with IBDD maybe a year ago, and she had to go through this.
Okay, wait, what is that? I don't know what that means.
IBDD is really common in Frenchies because Frenchies are not naturally bred, so they have a lot of problems.
Okay.
And
so it's like a DNA change or something?
No, it's just their
I'm getting way too complicated.
their vertebrae are kind of messed up. They're all different shapes, actually. Their backbones are all different little shapes.
Oh, interesting. I did not know that.
So they're really prone to having diseases, and they're cute, but they're not meant to be in this world. They're manufactured puppies.
Interesting.
But anyways,
go on.
I just want to talk about her because I'm very grateful for her because I almost lost her last year.
You know.
And I love her so much. So yes, okay. How do we go from talking about your 4-year-old daughter to talking about my Frenchies?
I don't know, but I'm going to get us back on track to go back to where we actually. So now she has amazing little Frenchies that she loves. I'm a mom. She reached out on Instagram, and I was first of all, I'm going to be very candid here. You're always a little bit nervous on social media. If you see somebody who has like above 10K followers, you're like, okay, if I say hi, are they going to talk to me?
Ew, no. Who are you? You don't know who I am. I have 10,000 followers.
Right. Plus, well, you technically have more than that, to be fair. But I'm saying,
but I don't say that. I would never say. You don't know who my dad is.
One time I saw that that there's like that once you've hit this threshold, then you're an influencer official. And while I'm not trying to bag on the influencers, that whole concept a little bit was funny to me. So I am technically below the 10K mark. For those of you who are wondering if you're speaking to an influencer or not, you're not. You're talking to a human being. Yes, thank you.
Me too.
And so we ended up connecting, and we met in person. And I've actually met many people that I've met on social media. My current husband, we met on Match, and so I do believe in technology getting you to meet people you might not otherwise have met. And for that reason, I love it. And we met. It started with coffee.
Yes, we went for coffee, and oh my gosh,
she swooned me.
I didn't know that you lived so far, and I picked a restaurant that was 2 blocks away from my house, so I walked there, and then you told me that you had to go on the freeway for like 50 minutes, and I felt completely
Which in LA, that's
horrible.
a long time, right? In LA, getting on the freeway for 50 minutes.
But anyways, yeah, that's how we met, and we have been friends since, and
And then I came back, and so I've written my second book recently. I released it. It's called Jugend, and it's taking on the topic of racism and hateful rhetoric, and that's something I'm very proud of. It's won 2 international awards, and I just, I do a lot of marketing and I do a lot of things. Like I said, I'm on podcasts all the time. But it came to a point where we did EmpowerCon. We had our first Unsugarcoated Media had its first event at the Los Angeles Convention Center in August. We're doing it again next year. And in just that prep, I said to her, I want to do a podcast, but I want to do it right. And she was like, you know what? So do I.
Me too.
Me too. Let's do it.
And we did it.
And we cheersed with margarita and
guacamole and margaritas. And by the second glass, we were telling the waiters that they had to subscribe, but they had nothing to subscribe to anyway. But now we're going to go back. And we're going to tell them this is it.
This is it. And, so to verify, so I am an official business entrepreneur. I can say I built a former retail business, multi-million-dollar generating company. Now, to some people, it's like, okay, that's not billions. But to actually make your first million, it's a big deal in your life. And if you're doing it with a business, it's and you're doing it on your own, it's exciting. So I say that to verify to people, to let people know when I talk about business and leadership and in those areas.
You know what the hell you're talking about.
Exactly what I'm talking about. I even teach my husband a thing or two. So I'm a businesswoman, and yet I'm a mom. I'm a very dedicated. I'm a conservative background type of person, but I find myself in my 40s kind of breaking out. I'm a little bit more edgier. I'm a little bit more funky now than I was in my 20s. Kid you not, this is a true story. There is a picture out there floating of the very first time I went to a club. For anybody, I'm originally from the Bay Area. I went to City Nights. It was my first time going to Kitty Nights. I'm sorry, City Nights.
Kitty Nights, that sounds more fun.
Well, they call it Kitty Nights. It's because we're all the 18-year-olds. It's the 18-year-old in club. I'd never been to a club. So I go, and you know how you take a picture sometimes at the clubs back in the, well, maybe they don't now, but back in the day.
No, I've had my club days.
You had your club days?
I've been to the club.
And I swear I'm wearing a floral shirt with shoulder pads, which have come back since then, by the way.
I love shoulder pads.
And it's a floral shirt with these khaki pants and hush puppies with my bobby socks folded over. That's what I wore the first time I went to a club. I swear there's a picture out there. If it ever comes out,
we're going to look for it.
I will pay whatever amount of money to have this suppressed. I cannot have this come out.
So now we know what to get you for your birthday. We're going to find that picture.
So okay. So let's talk about first, just for our, and we're going to go into an actual really cool discussion. We've planned it out. Every episode is intended to have a theme, but we do want to talk about who we're a good fit for. Like, who are the people that want to listen to us, Alexandra?
Well, I think this is really important. I think it's really important to let people know who we are a good fit for and who we're not a good fit for. So right now we're starting this journey as a season podcast. One, because we
have lives,
and we also want to know what can happen with this, because I love podcasts. If we could do this full time, I would love that, because I think they're really educational. Okay, but this is for the people. This podcast that you're listening to right now, Unsugarcoated Podcast, is for the people who want to feel empowered, who want to feel motivated, who are open to learning, self-improvement, and who are also open-minded.
Yeah.
Because
we need that in life, man. Life is hard. And you know what? When we talk about that, being empowered, I feel that it's such a hot word, right? This was not a word that really was, it existed obviously when we were younger, but it's such a hot word now. But I always tell people, okay, but for real, we're going to empower you, because we're not going to sugarcoat it. That's like the whole thing. We're not going to sugarcoat it and tell you something just to make you feel good. We're actually going to tell you something that will hopefully help you in your life.
I do love that.
In different realms, right?
Of course. And if you're looking for a year-round podcast, and maybe
don't turn us off yet.
But
don't turn us off
yet.
Because, right now we're doing it in season. So as she said, she's running a company. I'm running a company, as well as writing. I have to write 3 more books that are laid out. And I travel. My husband is in film. I'm, at the film festivals quite often. He just recently released a movie, and we're actually quite excited because of our backgrounds. We're going to be bringing in some pretty cool people, and we want you guys to look forward to that. But the seasonal is just, definitely it's a test. Anyway, without further ado on that, let me ask you a question.
Oh, okay. I love it.
Who do you see your audience as?
I really want to speak to the women and men. What?
You've got to stop messing with the pen.
I know. I'm nervous. Leave me alone.
She's like, I'm going to poke you in the eye with it. No, you can't.
No. Well, okay. Listen, I think I've definitely had a very interesting time growing up. And I don't mean that in a bad way. It's just, I guess I wish I had a more of a guidance on just friendships and relationships and career. I mean, I went to school for one thing. I ended up doing another thing. I wish there was someone who actually had helped me.
Sure.
And I think this podcast is for people. It's for mine, right? Because we are so different.
You're gonna have a different audience than myself, right?
I just want
I'm gonna have all the cool people. No, I'm kidding.
I'm gonna have all the cool people who still go to the club. Hopefully not.
Hey, wait, I was
though.
at the club. No, I wasn't at the club.
You were just at the club listening? Oh God.
No.
No, but for real. Okay, I think I just, if you have questions, if you have doubts, if you're going through something, if you're going through something that like a 20 to 35-year-old would be going through, then yeah, I definitely can speak on that.
Right.
So that's my audience.
And that's, it's funny that you said that because I get that. Like and I want to actually go back and ask you something because you mentioned you're from Peru, right? How old were you when you came here?
Oh, I was 10.
Okay.
Yeah, I was very young.
So you're still like, you just, there's a part of, I always think of like over half my life I've been here or something. Like you just recently crossed that threshold.
I was just in Peru 10 years ago. I mean, 14 years ago, guys.
That's not, but, and so you people would meet you and probably think you were born in LA, by the way, of course.
No, they think I'm from Mexico.
Okay, well, we're not talking about the color of us. You want to hear a funny conversation?
They do think. No, my fiance now, he sometimes he still thinks I'm from Mexico, and I'm like, okay.
You're like,
thin ice.
Yes. Because Latins have a big thing about like if you're from like I have friends from El Salvador,
they're
and like don't call me Mexican or like or like
which I don't have a problem with, but like I'm not,
Right. No, absolutely. No, and it's funny with me. It's like I'm kind of everything. I'm multicultural. I'm I have this like you can just pick a country and I'm probably from it, but I have
exactly.
But mostly I have a very like white and a very brown, which is ironic because. I was just telling someone last night, and I think I've mentioned this to you before. With brown people, they see me as whiter. And then with the white people, they see me as brown. And by the way, I mean nothing offensive when I say white or brown. We're just speaking kind of, we're not testifying anywhere here or anything under oath. So I feel that we can be
unsugarcoated.
Yeah, unsugarcoated. And so anyway, that's been a challenge for me sometimes to get people to see past what they're seeing, on the surface. So, when you said about in your age, so I struggled so much in my youth. I was homeless by 14 years old. And, over the course of this podcast, I hope people will stay tuned to learn about some of the things I have gone through in my life. And I didn't come from a poor family or uneducated. Actually, quite the opposite. It's just, well, not rich. Don't get me wrong. Nobody was rich in my family. But, well, not that back then. It was a regular middle-class family. And there actually was a lot of education and wonderful things to my childhood. Mm-hmm. At the same token, there were horrible things in my childhood. I endured sexual abuse, sexual assault in my teenage years. By the time I was 14, I was on my own. I was just fighting for life. And it was interesting because one of the guys who was here earlier, he's like, what school did you go to? And, it's always sometimes for a long time, it was uncomfortable to say, I didn't get to go to college right out of high school like a lot of my friends. Mm-hmm. I'm from Napa. All my friends, when they graduated, was like, which Ivy League school are you going to? And I'm like, yeah, I got to get a job and like pay for stuff,
Yeah, I have to get an apartment.
And so there was, I had to wait till that time came available for me. Mm-hmm. So when I was your age, I suffered so much more because I didn't have the guidance I could have very well used.
Right.
And I think that's one reason why we've connected well. Mm-hmm. Because one, as like a little sister, not your mom, by the way, your older sister, I love being able to give you guidance or give you advice when you talk about certain things. At the same token, not that you always agree with me, but it's really refreshing sometimes to hear the things that come out of your mouth. And I mean that. I'm not trying, like, just so you know, people will need to know. We can't always agree on stuff. I can't always, like, be cool with you. I just want you to know. I mean, no.
I just want you to know.
Just kidding. I look for areas for us to actually disagree on.
Starting
You struggle a little
start.
bit.
She's like, I'm not going to agree with you with anything.
All right. Okay. So let's go into actually what we want to talk about for this particular episode. I think it's important for people to understand that we want to talk about the impact of toxic relationships, right? And so basically if you want to title it, signs you're in a toxic relationship and how to get the out.
Just say it, Aalia. Don't be afraid. See, the thing that I found really
my conservative roots.
The thing that I find really cute about Aalia is that Aalia just has this like fear of saying the F word, and it's really cute. And it's really cute because my mom does the same thing.
When I'm off, she
thinks she won't say it in front of her mom, and her mom is like 70 years old. My mom is like 45. You're a grown woman, Mom. You can say the F word. And she's like, my mom is here.
Right. Being completely unsugarcoated, I have the mouth of a sailor. Like, seriously. I don't have a problem saying it, but I do have this conservative. And I got to tell you, I find it interesting to be in this day and age because I know we're going off topic a little bit. We'll get right back on in a second. But I struggle with, like, really... It's not that I'm not emboldened. It's not that I'm afraid. It's none of that. But there's just those conservative roots that kind of pull and say, now, Aalia, you know you're not supposed to say that in front of people. And then there's this other voice in my head and says, shut the fuck up.
There you go. I like that, Aalia. Honestly, to be quite honest.
I do too. But it's funny. People will say, well, you're not being authentic. No, I'm actually being authentic by telling you that it's still a struggle.
Yeah.
So anyways, let's talk about this because this is a real issue, right? We got some real issues with people and toxicity.
Toxicity.
And this is by...
That's a word,
not
right?
just toxicity. Absolutely.
Toxicity?
Yeah, I'm saying it.
See, this is what happens because I'm like ESL issues for all the people that took ESL in high school. Like my English, I think in Spanish, and I have to translate it into English. So toxicity, it sounds weird. But
well, that's because I'm saying it weird.
I'm gonna trust the native,
the writer,
the
native award-winning novelist.
Yes, the Jugget. Oh, by the way, Jugget, I love Jugget.
I know.
See?
No, I know, but just because it's the word, so people always give me a little bit of crap over that. They're like, why did you give it a German word? Nobody knows. And then it's spelled with, so it's a German word, and it's spelled with J.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if you're able to look up really quick cover of my book over there, but the cover of it, so people see it, and they're like, Jugend, and I'm like, it's Jugend. It's German for the word youth, which was very important to me because it sounded so much better in German than it did in English.
Absolutely.
And the word itself is like, the story, of course, is of two 14-year-old boys, two timelines. So youth made sense. And I forgot where I was going with this for 1 second.
We're just saying. I was just saying how I like your book, but no, because you were talking about how you're a novelist. Oh my gosh!
And then I write books.
You know what? I'm gonna love this. After we've done this a couple of times, we're gonna come back to this episode and we're gonna be like, wow. Yeah. And then we're gonna look over to Cheyenne over there, and he's gonna be like, yeah. It was something.
Well, we can show the book at the end because we can go over where people can go buy it if they're interested in learning a little bit more about my novel, which, of course, it's everywhere in the world. Anyway, okay, let's get to toxicity because this is a really cool thing. Well, actually, in the book, I mean, it's toxic. It's toxic. This does not apply to just romantic relationships. This applies to friendships, family, as well as our friends. So I want you to kind of share, go ahead and take the lead on this one.
Well, okay. So I wanted to talk about this because where the era that I'm living in, that I'm really glad that you didn't live in, is the fact that if you get angry at somebody, you don't want to talk it out, you don't want to call it, you go on all the social media platforms and then you just go and block that person.
See, I'm not like that.
That's it.
I don't. You know what? Here's my thing. If I have to block you, you took too much time out of my day.
And you would think,
and I'd much rather them see what I'm up to, which is living life and having a blast.
That's what I'm saying. And that's different because I think that if people still talked it out, then it would be very different. But yes, I think I want to talk about that because I just got blocked on Instagram. So
how does that make you feel? It's a therapy session. How does that make you feel, Alexandra?
Well, it's okay. I didn't block that person back because,
right.
Because of what you just said.
Yeah.
Because I'm like here with my friend, she's having fun. But also, it makes me upset. It makes me sad more than upset.
Sure.
Because it's a friendship and, we're 24 now. So why are you blocking me on Instagram?
No, absolutely. It's funny. To me, when you say 24, you say we're old enough. And I'm still like, you're still so young. And it's true. I don't mean that because I was once 24 too. And it was only last week. It seems
but
it was last week.
I used to do that in high school. Like if my friend made me upset, I would block her.
Sure.
In high school.
But it takes a long time to learn. Speaking of what we've learned in our journeys, it takes a long time to understand that people's actions are a reflection of them.
That's what I was going to say.
Not me, not us. So, look, we sat down today and we talked about some of the things we know what happens when you have the impact of a toxic relationship. So we talked about what does that do in my life? And it affects your self-esteem, and it causes you to question who you are a little bit. I mean, if it's a romantic, people who go and read my first book, Tough Love, it's a biographical fiction novel, but it is based on my life where I share the end of my last marriage. It was very tumultuous. There was spousal abuse involved, adultery involved, and all these things that were a reflection of his personality I took on. And it really made me question who I was, and so that was one of the things. What's another thing that we can see as an impact of toxic relationships?
Well, definitely very obvious, the lack of boundaries. You don't have any boundaries.
Boundaries, I think, is a concept people struggle with to this day and age. I'm serious. Thankfully, people are starting to understand it, but boundaries are okay.
I know. But then, once you put them there, it's either you are okay with them, or you get this weird feeling of like you're doing something wrong, like you're giving your back to somebody, right? And I grew up Catholic, where there's this idea that you gotta love everybody because everybody's your sister and your brother, and you have to be kind.
Right.
But I have an actual 11-year-old sister, and whenever she gives me any trouble, I still tell her, I'm not going to deal with this. So why should I treat other people differently,
Right.
So, yeah.
Well, actually with family, I think you tend, it's funny, I was telling my best friend this. I'm like, I categorize family as people I will tolerate. I'll set the boundaries, but I kind of compartmentalize some of the behaviors that they do because I realize that it's how they behave, right? So if you have, for example, if you have a family member who's just always late, always late, but you still gotta love them, right? You still choose to love them, but not to make plans that Oh God! And by the way, if my sister listens to this later, I'm not talking about you. I love you. My adopted sister is gonna be like, wait a minute, what? Because I consider her family. I tell her I put you in the family category because I put up with way more than I would from my friend, which kind of seems like it's contradicting what I'm saying. But then that's also why you do have closer relationships, obviously, sometimes with your friends. But, also expectations that you have from somebody. I find we in life tend to expect from others the way that we would treat them, right?
Yeah.
Well, I wouldn't do that to you. I wouldn't leave you standing on the side of the street after we had an argument. Of course I wouldn't. No, I would. Maybe I would. I don't know.
Well, it depends how upset you made me,
exactly,
right?
Right. But no, for real, all joking aside, for example, when I did experience adultery from my ex-husband, I expected him to really truly be remorseful. I expected him to show his family, I messed up, I will never do this again, and this is how much you matter to me. That was the wrong expectation for me to have. Well, from him. Because he was not capable of doing that. And by the way, this show is not going to be about my ex-husband, in case anyone wonders. But what I do...
Don't worry, honey,
the only
about
reason... It's funny, because I'm so over... people ask, was writing your book, Tough Love, cathartic? I'm like, no, it was empowering, but because I was already healed. It was
your healing
I've lived...
therapy.
I've already... I understand that now. But a lot of people out there don't. And so it's important for us as, in my experience with this podcasting, I want to be able to give people those storytelling in a way. As an author and as a writer, I do that, but I want people to understand that I want them to know I know what I'm talking about. And maybe out there you will too once you hear that. You'll be like, oh, okay, yeah, I went through that. And I went through that with my own parents. I talked about being homeless. I had 2 parents who divorced when I was 2. They were just selfish and incapable of supporting me the way that I needed to be supported. And so, to this day, it's a very difficult relationship to have because I see the toxicity and I have to push myself away. Because if I get too close and I set those expectations again, guess what? I'm going to get let down. And I don't want that. I told you the other day, man, I went through cancer 3 times. I've been through chemo. Once you take that stuff in, you don't want toxicity. I didn't survive cancer to deal with your bullshit.
Yeah.
Not at all. Not at all.
That is true.
No, sir, ladies and gentlemen. Like, that's what I woke up one day and realized, like, wait a minute.
Yeah.
I want to live my best life. I
Yeah.
want to live on a freaking adventure. That does not mean that every day is an adventure, by the way. I don't think last week my baby was sick. I didn't get to take a shower for 3 days. But no, I'm kidding. I did brush my teeth, though, at least. No, I'm kidding. See? Unsugarcoated. You have a sick baby, and let me know how often you get to take care of yourself.
Oh, my God.
Yeah, but anyway, my point is, like, you know, we are coming from an authentic and unsugarcoated place. So when we talk about it, we mean it attacks your self-esteem. You get the lack of boundaries. You get unhealthy expectations. ¿Qué más, mi amor? For those of you who don't have subtitles, I've never taken a Spanish class in my life. It's just from growing up in California.
I love it.
So, anyways, yes, ¿qué más?
Well, yeah, I think it's the boundary. It's the boundaries that we all have. We just have a lot of issues. Once you set them, sometimes you want to go back and take them away, especially if you're really afraid of confrontation.
Sure.
Which is something that definitely a lot of people are afraid of, including myself.
Trust issues is another one.
Trust issues too, yeah.
Oof, especially once you've been hurt by someone. Yeah. I mean, why? You set the standard for what you can expect from someone. So once that trust has been broken, and we're talking friendships, like I have a girlfriend, an ex-girlfriend. I never thought I was going to have to break up with a girlfriend.
Yeah.
But I did, because it was like, it just got to be too much. For many months, I was pouring myself in and taking the phone calls and offering it. And then it just got to be very clear, I'm wasting my time. You need a therapist, honey. And I'm go get one. I was like, 'cause
Right.
I'm good. I've done my due diligence or my effort. I've done my investment. It's not working, and I just can't trust you to be a normal, rational friend. So that's good. We're done with that. And you know, it's the negative behavior that can also come too.
Yeah, and I think it's I think a really clear sign is that you're not really sure why you're friends with them. It's
Should we go around taking like do we pros and cons list? This is why I like her, and this is why I don't.
But it's
Or
not
him or
a bad
her.
idea, honestly. I think that once you see their like an incoming call or a text, and you feel horrible, like dreadful, and you don't want to answer it, then that's an actual sign, because our bodies tell us way more than we actually know,
Right.
and we just ignore it.
No.
This is the craziest thing. We
100%.
ignore it, and we're like, no, I think I'm gonna take the call because I'm a good friend, and blah blah blah.
I'm a little bit psychic, just so you know.
I love it.
a
Okay,
little
so
bit
what's gonna
psychic.
happen tomorrow?
I'm gonna go get up.
You're gonna get up, and I'm gonna.
We're gonna work. No, but for real. Okay, so the toxicity thing, it affects every area of life. If you've got it, you know, and people who are miserable tend to make you miserable as well.
Too.
And
yeah.
so it affects your family life, your work life. Like, it just like, I know when I took chemo, do you know what I felt like? I mean, there were days, I don't know how to explain to you what I mean, cancer fighters know what I mean, but I don't know how to explain to you what it feels like to take their medicine that makes you feel like horrible.
Yeah.
Like steel is going through your veins. I remember taking showers with my daughter and not even be able to like worry I was going to pass out. Okay, and I know I'm speaking very dramatically here, but I'm being very authentic in the sense of like taking toxic medicine is a horrible feeling. And if you have a relationship or a friendship in your life that is, you know, even a working, if you have something in your life that's causing you to feel that way, then you want to get it over with. I wanted to get my treatments over as quickly as possible, and most of my friends do, because you just want to get past that part and be free of that.
Right, but why are people, in your case, it felt so bad that you wanted it to end, right? You wanted your treatment to end.
There's times. Oh yeah, yeah. Sorry.
No, your treatment. You wanted your treatment to end. So why is it that if it's emotional, if it's an actual relationship, the same urgency is not there.
Sure.
You let it go for years.
Yes.
Right, but when it's and the crazy thing is that it's your emotional world really It doesn't guide your life. It actually controls it.
Do you feel like a lot of the social influences, like, look, I mean, I've always heard that term, ride or die. And I'm sure there's some people out there that might be like, but that's messed up. You know, when people need you most, that's when you're there for them. And I know that. And I've been there and I've tested those. And there's like certain levels that I'll be there for someone before I'm like, okay, whoop, that's it. Now, again, that boundary. Okay, you know, do you feel, because, you know, we do have this more aware society where loyalty does not equate into me having to deal with like a horrible life as a result of your freaking inability to get it together.
You know, it's crazy that you say that, because I had a friend. It was a really special day for me, and she was going to be there, but then she texted me 3 hours past the time they were supposed to meet. It was a group of people, and she said, "Hey, I wasn't able to make it because I think I really need to take care of my body. I really need to take care of my brain. I need some sleep. Hashtag self-care." Oh. And I was like, you can't. Wait a minute. No.
Wait, was it me? It wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. We're not friends anymore. I was like, no, you're saying that it's okay for you to bail on your friends because of hashtag self-care. That's not self-care. Like, you're supposed to know that. So it's when my loyalty to her came to light, where she was like, well, you're supposed to understand. Like, if you're my friend, you would understand. Right. I'm like, no, you're not. Now I can't trust you.
Right.
I can't even trust you, because now you're saying you could have told me last night. You don't text me 3 hours later. So, yeah, I think the whole loyalty thing is something that people expect you to have no matter what.
Okay, but she did something that kind of ticked you off. What about the people that come back? What about the, you know, for the women out there, and men too, women can do it too. But what about when someone is like, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to do that. You're still my friend, right? Like, you know, look at how in relationships, you know, I mean, look, men will beat the crap out of a woman. Been there, done that. And then come back, oh, I didn't mean to. I love you. Come here. Oh, I promise I'll never do it again. And you know, you want to believe that, right? Mm-hmm. It's not until you get to the point where you're like, oh, hold up. Well, I'm glad you're sorry you did it, because it ain't never going to happen again. Like that. And I did get to that day, thank God. But yes. I mean, a lot of people don't. And then you just take a long time. Well, and there was a very long cycle of things that happened where, people, you just continually get pulled back in, you know? And I mean, it's our instinct, most of us, to care for other people and want to. I mean, I like people. I like you. I like friends. I find, my family grew up old school. You didn't have a lot of network. I mean, I look at my life now and it's totally different from my family's background. I have a huge network of acquaintances, and then friends, and then closer friends, and then people I like, just really feel I can't live without.
Yeah, exactly.
And most of them are not blood related. Well, my kids are blood related. My husband's not blood related. But
hopefully they are blood related.
Yeah. Well, unless I adopted, which I think like adoption is an amazing thing. As a person who actually went through what I went through in my youth, I would have loved for some amazing family to come along and say,
you.
I'll
Absolutely.
take you, and then we'll send you off to college. Yeah. But when I was younger, I wanted nothing more than a normal life, quote unquote, air quotes, for those listening. But now I'm so thankful I didn't. And that's kind of actually the one. So this is the hard part about toxic people. They both impress upon you why you don't need to be around toxic people, but they also teach you lessons about yourself, right?
They do.
So to some degree, we kind of still need the toxic people
to grow. Oh, absolutely. But I think the important part there is for you to see who they are and then let them go.
Right. Well, because there are people who will change. And then there are people that will never change.
Yeah.
And it's usually the people that do change that then realize, whoa, we have not changed together, or we've changed in totally different, you've changed, I've changed for the better, you've changed for the worse. I remember when I was going through therapy several years ago, and I actually didn't have to go to a therapist except when I was in an unhealthy relationship, right? Because that's when you need help. And so after I was out of that unhealthy situation, I was cured. But I remember him taking down a book and reading the definition of narcissist, to which I was like, that is my husband at the time. That was my
Yeah.
ex-husband. And I said, now let me ask you a question,
Not you,
doctor.
Joseph. We love you.
Not Joseph. My husband Joseph is never. No, are you kidding me? He released a movie. He wouldn't even get on the red carpet. I'm like,
Yeah.
babe, go. He's going to kill me when he hears that because he's going to be like, the stupid red carpet issue. I'm like, so many executive
You
producers and people
should
would be killing to be where you are right now. And you're playing the shy card. Like, really.
know.
Anyway, he's amazing. But the therapist, I said, let me ask you, doctor, do you think there is potential for him to change ever? Do you think he can? And he said, listen, I know you want me to tell you yes.
Yeah.
But I've got to tell you, if he's clinically narcissist, which we kind of deciphered that he was, he goes, I'm going to tell you, it's very little hope that will ever change for you.
Yeah.
And he was right. He was right. I didn't want to hear it when he told it to me, of course, but he was right. And I am thankful that actually now I can share that story with other people because they're in the same position as I was once upon a time. And then there are a lot of people that I love that will listen to this, that they're past that. They're like, oh, man, I know what you've been through. I got you. But we're on a better path. Mm-hmm. So what happens like when you remove those toxic people from your life?
So we were talking. So we said the really clear signs. Now we have to talk about the subtle signs because it's the subtle signs that go way above our head. So one of the first ways to know that is that they're not very interested in the details of your life. The conversation kind of always circles back to them. I'm talking about, so and so, I don't trust them.
Right.
And then you'll be like, yeah, you know what? My boyfriend, I don't trust him either. And this is why, and this is why. And it's just a whole conversation about them, and they don't want to share. It's a one-way street,
right?
Which is, I think, something that we can all relate to.
Yeah, I've done it. I'm guilty.
Also, like, they criticize you, but it's not very constructively.
Oh.
And
sounds like
listen,
an old, relative I might have had.
We
you
all
look
have
great. Gained a little bit of weight, haven't you?
Yeah.
Thanks. So glad to see you too.
I know. Why would you say that to somebody?
No.
Oh my gosh. They also keep score of
Ooh.
things. Oh well, I forgave you the other day. And
Remember
this
that
is the
one
fifth
time
you told
when
me.
I paid for your lunch at Elephant Bar? 10 years ago? You owe me.
You can Venmo me. Venmo me the $15. And this is my favorite one.
Okay.
Your mom does not like them. That is a clear sign.
There's a song about that, right?
Exactly. My mama don't like you and she likes everyone.
Okay. Definitely.
I'm a believer.
She's a believer. I actually like
Not really, though, because honestly, I'm really crazy about the Selena Gomez songs. So anyways. Okay, so that is a really clear sign because my mama has always been right about the people that just were not meant to
energy.
be my friends.
Because she's older.
Exactly.
And she picks up on the vibes that everyone is putting down.
Yeah.
So, we want to encourage people. If you've got toxic people in your life, you want to find a way to get them out.
Right. And you can either, so these are some ways that you can do it. You can either slow fade the friendship, but it only works if both parties know what's happening.
Absolutely.
And then, if your friend has no clue that they're toxic, and you do this, where you say, these are my boundaries, I don't want to be your friend anymore, good luck with your dreams and goals, then obviously they're going to get really upset. And so you have to be aware of this because they will push back, they'll get offended, they'll become accusatory, and they will block you on social media.
Absolutely. Be prepared for the blocking, okay? No, well, it's funny because I know that that's your perspective. So in mine, I will say, it's like the conversation in my mind would be like, look, I'm going to give you the opportunity, unless they've pushed you to the point. But I mean, I long before I get to the point where like,
Absolutely.
Get the hell out of my life. I'm going to give you some opportunities. I want to keep you as a friend, but I don't like it when you do this. Or I want to keep you in my life, but I don't like it when you do this. And I'm not going to accept it. Okay. Yeah. I'm setting the standard for how you treat me and how I feel when I'm around you, right? Because Maya Angelou said it best. People will often forget what you said, but they will never forget how you make them feel. Right?
Yes.
So, okay. So anyways, we're going to actually...
Oh, wait. Okay. So before we move to the rapid fire, I just want to say this because it's very important. So here's the catch.
It's very important.
If a relationship is heading south, it might also be because you are the toxic friend.
Oh.
In a relationship. If you don't recognize any of the signs that I just said, but your relationship has been not working, perhaps it's best that you take a really hard look in the mirror because we never want to
Oh,
we never want to realize it.
I'm an angel.
But
I'm an angel in disguise.
We have to be self-aware.
No, it's true. It's so true. It's funny. There have been many times, and I'm a, people who know me, I'm a very strong cannabis advocate post-cancer. I'm not going to lie. I mean, I was around it when I was younger, but I never, it's so funny. People like my aunt and uncle, they find out now, what? Alia's using
weed?
Yeah. I'm like, yeah, I'd
You're
rather
cool,
take
Mom.
that than like the 10 medicines I'm told
Yeah.
I should take because of my issues. But anyway, the reality is like, I will sometimes get into a little, my husband is fantastic. And then there's sometimes he's we will like bump heads a little bit, but it's like really cool. Actually, before I say this, and remember that I was saying about Joseph. No, well, I'm just going to say it. Joseph and I will get into an argument. And then I'm like, I'm going to go to the store. I'm going to go take a walk or whatever. I'm just going to go upstairs. And if I do, and I think a little bit, and I'm not going to lie, cannabis especially, like I'll start with my head. It'll be, now, Aalia, you know better than that.
Yeah.
What the hell are you doing acting like this? Like, are you serious? What do you want, Aalia? It's like there's this person inside. I think that when you really self-reflect, man, really self-reflect. I'm not saying do the whole, well, I could have said it this way. You should be like, no, take ownership of your behavior and acknowledge that, you know what? I'm kind of being a little bit of an asshole right now.
But it's hard because for you to get to that point, you definitely have to be, you want to be happy you'd rather be happy than right.
Thank you.
And
being right is not
really freaking hard to
being
get
right
to that
is
point.
not
But if
what
you
is
have
important to me.
your-
Absolutely, being right. As a matter of
definitely
fact,
right.
I tell my husband all the time he's always right, because my grandmother taught me that. She said, if you want to keep a man, tell him he's right all the time.
Oh, Lord.
And I say it with a straight face too. Huh? Oh, baby, you're always right. But you know what's funny is
Joseph.
he actually is sometimes. Anyways, okay, so really quick. So we've given you some great advice. We would love for you guys to go to our website and give us some feedback, give us our comments.
And if
also
you
share
have,
stories.
yeah, if you're going through that same thing, share it. 'cause
Reach out.
Your story, you can only see how much your story is going to impact somebody when you share it. So.
Absolutely, I've said that, and you know what? I get like I won't. We never just share any of our people's that reach out to us their identities, but I had I got a message over the weekend, and it was a cancer survivor, older woman reaching out to me, and she says, after all these years, I'm paraphrasing, she said, but I still have not learned to love myself. And in our discussion, I asked her, I was like, well, why? Who are telling you these things? The people around me are saying these negative things to me and telling me I'm not worth loving. And that when we talk about how that self-esteem and toxic, if you've ever been in a toxic relationship, right now I need to tell you, if anyone's ever made you feel less than, that you are not worthy of love, that you are not who you are, they're wrong. And you were worthy the minute you were born, and you will be worthy until the minute that you die. And that's something I really firmly believe in having the opportunity to tell people. So we want to hear comments, and we want you to feel free to reach out to us. Please subscribe to our website, because we also have a platform on that. We actually have an opportunity for people to share their stories. On the website, we will be releasing these selected stories, will be showcased and highlighted on the website, because we don't want to just empower people. We want to help other people empower others as well. Yeah. So we got a little bit of fun rapid fire for you. We don't know the questions each other have lined up. We're going to do this with our other guests too. 5 questions.
5 questions. I got 10.
Alex? Oh, no, girl.
I got like 15.
All excited.
Wait, we have to have a timer, right?
Yeah, the time is hurry up.
The time is, no, wait, okay. Do we have a 10, maybe 15-second timer?
Just go.
Okay. Ice cream flavor named Aalia would taste like?
Chocolate.
Okay, in your dreams you're making out with?
I can't say it. Actually, I really can't say it.
Oh, Lord, I know who it is. Oh, Lord. Okay.
I'm taking the 5th on that one. I'm sorry.
Funniest joke you know by heart?
Oh, my gosh. The funniest joke I know by heart, she got arrested for selling pussy. That's actually the name of the joke. That's the name of the joke. I'm sorry. My grandfather told it to me when I was a kid. Yes, I know. One day we'll have to do it.
That can lead to my other question, which is weirdest thing you did to make money.
Weirdest thing I did to make money? Go out and put flyers on cars to sell cell phones back when we first started our stores. Weirdest thing? No. Entrepreneur life, man. Thank God I didn't get in the suit and spin the sign. I had employees for that.
Best song title that describes your love life?
Tough Love.
What is your take on packs of stray dogs controlling the major cities?
What kind of question? No, that's a discussion. That's not rapid fire.
You guys don't know
What
that
is my
movie?
take?
It's Will Ferrell.
Oh no, I don't.
Oh my God.
I feel
okay.
so-
Wow.
I feel so
I'm
boomer
sad.
right now. I feel so boomer. Is that something I should know as a
You
boomer?
should know. It's Will Ferrell. Irrational fear.
There is such a thing? I'm a mother of 4. I
You're
live
like,
in California. There's no such thing. Irrational. I mean, I have a fear of, like a lot of people right now. Of
but it's
going
very irrational. Something that's irrational.
irrational. I know. I'm sucking right now because I cannot think of anything. That just irrational. I mean, irrational.
Like your I don't know, like your
Okay, I have
nipples
it.
falling
Okay,
off
no,
or something.
no. Yeah.
See, there you go. I just gave you an answer. Okay, last one. If you had to change your name, what would it be?
Penelope. Penelope, if I had
I
to.
think you do look like a Penelope.
You know what's hilarious about that statement? When I
curly
used to
hair.
go to the club back in the day.
To the club.
Back in the day. And guys used to
used
come
to go
up
to
and
the
ask
club.
my name. Oh, no, actually, I would use but Penelope became cool because Penelope Cruz. But then there was 2 names when they would say, "What's your name, girl?" I'd say Gertrude. And then I just wanted to see
like
the
dating
guy
their
with the straight
grandmothers.
face look at me and be like, "Damn, girl, that's a real pretty name." I just had to see it. And I
Gertrude.
heard it so many times. I was like, "You lying? Get out of here."
Okay, do you want one more?
Yeah, go.
In a movie about your life, who you want to play you?
Ooh, that's a good one. Salma Hayek. No, I'm kidding.
Salma Hayek is hot.
She is. She
She's
is.
got the
I'm
movies,
not.
too.
Okay, guys, I get it. I do not look like Salma Hayek, but I'm just saying she's a fantastic actress. She's bicultural
great.
like myself. I actually relate to her on some levels, and so yeah, that's who it would be. All right, your turn.
Oh my.
And I kind of got yours. Who is your celebrity crush?
Oh my God, Bruce Willis.
Okay, if you were
Also, wait. Also, that guy. Oh God. No.
you got to know him if he's your crush. That hot guy doesn't count. Okay,
That guy who had a twin brother.
Army Hammer.
No, never
Well,
mind, go
it was a
ahead.
fake twin
It was
brother,
two,
but anyways.
two twin brothers in New York that were gangsters.
Oh, I
And what had glasses? Do you know?
I don't know.
No.
I don't know. You've got me.
He's hot.
If
Sorry, Eric.
you were a superhero, what would your superpower be?
Oh my God. Definitely free food.
That would be. You should just have food popping up everywhere.
I hate paying for food. I think it should be a right.
So you would just walk into like a cafeteria, get some food, and then be like, "Yes, ma'am, yours is free."
Yeah.
You won the
I
lotto.
would literally be the happiest person alive.
Okay. Dark chocolate or milk chocolate?
Milk chocolate.
Milk chocolate. Ooh, I was
like
thinking you were
milk.
going to say dark. I'm just saying because you're the nutritionist and I'm all, it's antioxidants. But I see you're taking it to a whole new level over there. Calm down.
I am.
Okay.
Calm down.
Describe yourself as a teenager in 3 words.
Oh my gosh. I was emotional. I was messy. And I had a lot of attitude. My mother is just...
So now everyone is going to relate. No, I'm kidding. Except for the person. They're going to be like, I wasn't messy, but
I was insecure. You know? That's where the attitude come from.
Yeah, okay. Got true reflection. See? You're growing.
Self-awareness
She's
is a
growing up
superpower.
right in front of us, ladies and gentlemen. I love it. What is your must-have item when you travel?
I need underwear. I actually have this weird fear where I'm not gonna be able to get my baggage, so I always travel with underwear in my bag.
My husband will not allow me to say underwear, by the way. He says
Why?
it just isn't right. He says a woman should say panties, never underwear.
Why are we in like the 19-something?
I think
no.
he just doesn't like the idea. He's like, I've got underwear. You've got panties.
Okay, well, I don't travel without my panties. Happy?
Yeah, I am very happy. I hope our audience is happy to know these little things. Like, we just wanted people to get an idea of who we are. We're going to have a lot more in store for you guys. Like we said, if you want to reach out to us via the website, share your story, info@unsugarcoatedmedia.com. You can subscribe to our podcast by going to www.unsugarcoatedmedia.com. You can also connect with us on Instagram. Yours?
Alexandra Checa, and it is ALEXX. Andra Checa, CHECA.
Oh, that's right, for audio. I'm so sorry.
Yeah, for audio. I know, because we have visual too, but
Yes,
for
for those-
audio.
yeah.
But we'll put it on our Instagram, which is Unsugarcoated.
Mine, Unsugarcoated Media Podcast. Yeah. And then my personal
Instagram.
Yeah, on my Instagram is Aalia, AALIA _ Unsugarcoated. And now that everyone knows how to say my name, Aalia, get in the car. Aalia, get on Instagram and go follow me. #friends, not followers, because I am not an influencer, okay?
Yeah.
No disrespect, because we will have influencers come on social media, but we want to talk to them about issues and like really see what they're influencing about. Because that is actually, there are some people taking that platform, and I don't mean to I don't mean to get off track, but I don't want people to misperceive that there are people out there doing good things with that platform. Absolutely. And then there's some people that just like that it's kind of a joke a little bit, like, okay, but we're here for the people to connect with us. We look forward to bringing you more guests and empowering conversations. Hopefully you feel a little bit more empowered from ours today. And then we're going to have some more, we have guests in store. We've got a 2-time Emmy nominated television producer Philip coming in the future. We've got the sibling of Keanu Reeves, Karina Miller. She is a producer. She is a woman in film. She is a fearless woman, as a matter of fact, and that's actually why we're bringing her on here. And I want people to get to know who she is. I find her amazing. My husband's produced a couple films with her, worked with her, and she's just amazing. So please stay tuned, stay connected, and you will be back to enjoy us.
We will definitely get better at this thing we call podcasting.
I think we did okay, because you know what? And if you're still with us now, then hopefully you agree.
Thank you for tuning in.
We'll see you next time.
You've been listening to the Unsugarcoated Podcast with your hosts, Lanius and Alexandra Checa.